Dedication of A Book of Strife in the form of The Diary of an Old Soul. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Alisson Veldhuis. Diary of an Old Soul by George MacDonald. Dedication. Sweet friends, receive my offering. You will find against each worded page a white page set. This is the mirror of each friendly mind, reflecting that in this book we are met. Make it, dear hearts, of worth to you indeed. Let your white page be ground, my print be seed, growing to golden ears, that faith and hope shall feed. Your Old Soul. End of dedication. January. The Diary of an Old Soul by George MacDonald. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. The Diary of an Old Soul by George MacDonald. January. The first. Lord, what I once had done with youthful might, had I been from the first true to the truth, grant me now o'er to do with better sight, and humbler heart, if not the brain of youth. So wilt thou in thy gentleness and ruth lead back thy old soul by the path of pain, round to his best young eyes and heart and brain. Second. A dim aurora rises in my east, beyond the line of jagged questions hoar, as if the head of our entombed high priest began to glow behind the unopened door. Sure the gold wings will soon rise from the grey. They rise not. Up I rise, press on the more, to meet the slow coming of the Master's day. Third. Sometimes I wake, and lo, I have forgot, and drifted out upon an ebbing sea. My soul that was at rest now resteth not, for I am with myself, and not with thee. Truth seems a blind moon in a glaring morn, where nothing is but sick heart vanity. O thou who knowest, save thy child forlorn. Fourth. Death, like high faith, levelling, lifteth all. When I awake, my daughter and my son, grown sister and brother, in my arms shall fall, tenfold my girl and boy. Sure every one of all the brood to the old wings will run. Whole-hearted is my worship of the man from whom my earthly history began. Fifth. Thy fishes breathe but where thy waters roll, thy birds fly but within the airy sea. My soul breathes only in thy infinite soul. I breathe, I think, I love, I live but thee. O breathe, O think, O love, live into me. Unworthy is my life till all divine, till thou see in me only what is thine. Sixth. Then shall I breathe in sweetest sharing, then think in harmonious consort with my kin. Then shall I love well all my father's men, feel one with theirs the life my heart within. O brothers, sisters holy, hearts divine, then I shall be all yours and nothing mine, to every human heart a mother twin. Seventh. I see a child before an empty house, knocking and knocking at the closed door. He wakes dull echoes, but nor man nor mouse. If he stood knocking there for evermore, a mother angel, see, folding each wing, soft walking, crosses straight the empty floor, and opens to the obstinate praying thing. 8. Were there but some deep holy spell whereby always I should remember thee, some mode of feeling the pure heat throb momently of the spirit fire still uttering this I, Lord, see thou to it, take thou remembrance load. Only when I bethink me can I cry, remember thou, and prick me with love's goad. 9. If to myself God sometimes interferes, I said, my faith at once would be struck blind. I see him all in all, the lifting mind, or nowhere in the vacant miles and years. A love he is that watches and that hears, or but a mist fumed up from minds of men, whose fear and hope reach out beyond their ken. 10. When I no more can stir my soul to move, and life is but the ashes of a fire, when I can but remember that my heart once used to live and love, long and aspire, oh, be thou then the first, the one thou art. Be thou the calling before all answering love, and in me wake hope, fear, boundless desire. 11. I thought that I had lost thee, but behold, thou comest to me from the horizon low, across the fields outspread of green and gold, fair carpet for thy feet to come and go. Whence I know not, or how to me thou art come, not less my spirit with calm bliss doth glow, meeting thee only thus, in nature vague and dumb. 12. Doubt swells and surges, with swelling doubt behind. My soul in storm is but a tattered sail, streaming its ribbons on the torrent gale. In calm 'tis but a limp and flapping thing. Oh, swell it with thy breath, make it a wing, to sweep through thee the ocean, with thee the wind, nor rest until in thee its haven it shall find. 13. The idle flapping of the sail is doubt. Faith swells it full to breast the breasting seas. Bold conscience fast and rule the ruling helm. Hell's freezing north no tempest can send out, but it shall toss thee homeward to thy leas. Boisterous wave crest never shall o'erwhelm thy sea-float bark as safe as field-born rooted elm. 14. Sometimes, hard trying, it seems I cannot pray, for doubt and pain and anger and all strife, yet some poor half-fledged prayer-bird from the nest may fall, flit, fly, perch, crouch in the bowery breast of the large nation-healing tree of life, moveless there sit through all the burning day, and on my heart at night a fresh leaf cooling lay. 15. My harvest withers, health, my means to live, all things seem rushing straight into the dark, but the dark still is God. I would not give the smallest silver piece to turn the rush backward or sideways. Am I not a spark of him who is the light? Fair hope doth flush my east, divine success, oh, hush and hark. 16. Thy will be done. I yield up everything. The life is more than meat, then more than health, the body more than raiment, then than wealth. The hairs I made not, thou art numbering. Thou art my life, I the brook, thou the spring. Because thine eyes are open I can see, because thou art thyself. 'Tis therefore I am me. 17. No sickness can come near to blast my health. My life depends not upon any meat. My bread comes not from any human tilth. No wings will grow upon my changeless wealth. Wrong cannot touch it, violence or deceit. Thou art my life, my health, my bank, my barn, and from all other gods plain thus worn. 18th. Care thou for mine, whom I must leave behind. Care that they know who 'tis for them takes care. Thy present patience help them still to bear. Lord, keep them clearing, growing, heart and mind. In one thy oneness us together bind. Last earthly prayer, with which to thee I cling, grant that, save love, we owe not anything. 19th. 'Tis well, for unembodied thought alive, true house to build of stubble, wood, or hay. So, like bees round the flower by which they thrive, my thoughts are busy with the informing truth. And as I build, I feed and grow in youth, hoping to stand fresh, clean, and strong, and gay, when up the east comes dawning his great day. 20th. Thy will is truth. 'Tis therefore fate, the strong. Would that my will did sweep full swing with thine, then harmony with every spheric song, and conscious power would give sureness divine. Who thinks to thread thy great laws onward throng, is as a fly that creeps his foolish way athwart an engine's wheels in smooth, resistless play. 21st. Thou in my heart hast planted, gardener divine, a sign of the tree of life. It grows, but not in every wind or weather it blows. The leaves fall sometimes from the baby tree, and the life power seems melting into pine. Yet still the sap keeps struggling to the shine, and the unseen root clings cramp-like unto thee. 22nd. Do thou, my God, my spirit's weather control, and as I do not gloom though the day be done, let me not gloom when earth-born vapours roll across the infinite zenith of my soul. Should sudden brain frost through the heart's summer run, cold, weary, joyless, waste of air and sun, thou art my south, my summer wind, my all, my one. 23rd. O life, why dost thou close me up in death? O health, why make me inhabit heaviness? I ask, yet know, the sum of this distress, pang-haunted body, sore dismayed mind, is but the egg that rounds the winged faith. When that its path into the air shall find, my heart will follow, high above cold, rain, and wind. 24th. I can no more than lift my weary eyes. Therefore I lift my weary eyes no more. But my eyes pull my heart, and that, before 'tis well awake, knocks where the conscience lies. Conscience runs quick to the spirit's hidden door, straightway from every skyward window cries up to the Father's listening ears arise. 25th. Not in my fancy now I search to find thee, not in its loftiest forms would shape or bind thee. I cry to one whom I can never know, filling me with an infinite overflow, not to a shape that dwells within my heart, clothed in perfections love and truth assigned thee, but to the God thou knowest that thou art. 26th. Not, Lord, because I have done well or ill, not that my mind looks up to thee clear-eyed, not that it struggles in fast cerements tied, not that I need thee daily sorer still, not that I wretched wander from thy will, not now for any cause to thee I cry, but this, that thou art thou, and here am I. 27th. Yestereve death came, and knocked at my thin door. I from my window looked. The thing I saw, the shape uncouth I had not seen before. I was disturbed, with fear in sooth, not awe, whereof ashamed I instantly did rouse my will to seek thee, only to fear the more. Alas, I could not find thee in the house. 28th. I was like Peter when he began to sink. To thee a new prayer therefore I have got, that when death comes in earnest to my door, thou wouldst thyself go, when the latch doth clink, and lead him to my room up to my cot. Then hold thy child's hand, hold and leave him not, till death has done with him for evermore. 29th. Till death has done with him? Ah, leave me then, and death has done with me, oh, nevermore. He comes and goes, to leave me in thy arms, nearer thy heart, oh, nearer than before. To lay thy child, naked, new born again, of Mother Earth, crept free through many harms, upon thy bosom, still to the very core. 30th. Come to me, Lord. I will not speculate how, nor think at which door I would have thee appear, nor pull off calling till my floors be swept, but cry, come, Lord, come any way, come now. Doors, windows I throw wide, my head I bow, and sit like someone who so long has slept that he knows nothing till his life draws near. 31st. O Lord, I have been talking to the people. Thought's wheels have round me whirled a fiery zone, and the recoil of my words' airy ripple, my heart unheedful has puffed up and blown. Therefore I cast myself before thee prone, lay cool hands on my burning brain, and press from my weak heart the swelling emptiness. End of January.
February of Diary of an Old Soul. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. This recording by Thomas McKenney. Diary of an Old Soul by George MacDonald. February 1st. I, too, myself, have neither power nor worth, patience nor love, nor anything right good. My soul is a poor land, plenteous in dearth, here blades of grass, there a small herb for food, a nothing that would be something if it could. But if obedience, Lord, in me do grow, I shall one day be better than I know. February 2nd. The worst power of an evil mood is this: it makes the bastard self seem in the right. Self the end, the goal of human bliss. But if the Christ self in us be the might of saving God, why should I spend my force with a dark thing to reason of the light, not push it rough aside, and hold obedient course? February 3rd. Back still it comes to this: there was a man who said, I am the truth, the life, the way. Shall I pass on, or shall I stop and hear? Come to the Father, but by me none can. What then is this? Am I not also one of those who live in fatherless dismay? I stand, I look, I listen, I draw near. February 4th. My Lord, I find that nothing else will do, but follow where thou goest, sit at thy feet, and where I have thee not, still run to meet. Roses are scentless, hopeless are the morns, rest is but weakness, laughter crackling thorns. If thou, the truth, do not make them the true, thou art my life, O Christ, and nothing else will do. February 5th. Thou art here in heaven, I know, but not from here. Although thy separate self do not appear, if I could part the light from out the day, there I should have thee. But thou art too near. How find thee walking when thou art the way? O present Christ, make my eyes keen as stings, to see thee at their heart, the glory even of things. February 6th. That thou art nowhere to be found, agree wise men, whose eyes are but for surfaces. Men with eyes opened by the second birth, to whom the seen husk of the unseen is, descry the soul of everything on earth, who know thy ends, thy means and motion see, eyes made for glory soon discover thee. February 7th. Thou near then, I draw nearer to thy feet, and sitting in thy shadow, look out on the shine, ready at thy first word to leave my seat. Not thee, thou goest too. From every clod into thy footprint flows the indwelling wine, and in my daily bread, keen-eyed I greet its being's heart, the very body of God. February 8th. Thou wilt interpret life to me and men, art, nature, yea, my own soul's mysteries, bringing truth out, clear, joyous, to my ken, fair as the morn trampling the dull night. Then the lone hillside shall hear exultant cries, the joyous see my joy, the weeping weep, the watching smile as death breathes on me his cold sleep. February 9th. I search my heart, I search, and find no faith. Hidden he may be in its many folds. I see him not revealed in all the world. Duty's firm shape thins to a misty wraith. No good seems likely. To and fro I am hurled. I have no stay, only obedience holds. I haste, I rise, I do the thing he saith. February 10th. Thou wouldst not have thy man crushed back to clay. It must be, God, thou hast a strength to give to him that fain would do what thou dost say. Else how shall any soul repentant live? Old griefs and new fears hurrying on dismay. Let pain be what thou wilt, kind and degree. Only in pain calm thou my heart with thee. February 11th. I will not shift my ground like Moab's king, but from this spot whereon I stand I pray. From this same barren rock to thee I say, Lord, in my commonness, in this very thing that haunts my soul with folly, through the clay of this my pitcher see the lamp's dim flake, and hear the blow that would be the pitcher break. February 12th. Be thou the well by which I lie and rest. Be thou my tree of life, my garden ground. Be thou my home, my fire, my chamber blessed, my book of wisdom, loved of all the best. Oh, be my friend, each day still newer found, as the eternal days and nights go round. Nay, nay, thou art my God, in whom all loves are bound. February 13th. Two things at once, thou knowest, I cannot think. When busy with the work thou givest me, I cannot consciously think then of thee. Then why, when next thou lookest over the brink of my horizon, should my spirit shrink, reproached and fearful, nor to greet thee run? Can I be two when I am only one? February 14th. My soul must unawares have sunk awry. Some care, poor eagerness, ambition of work, some old offence that unforgiving did lurk, or some self-gratulation soft and sly, something not thy sweet will, not the good part, while the home guard looked out, stirred up the old murk, and so I gloomed away from thee, my heart. February 15th. Therefore I make provision ere I begin to do the thing thou givest me to do, praying. Lord, wake me oftener, lest I sin. Amidst my work, often thine eyes on me, that I may wake and laugh, and know and see, then with healed heart afresh catch up the clue, and singing drop into my work anew. February 16th. If I should slow diverge and listless stray into some thought, feeling, or dream unright, O watcher, my backsliding soul affray, let me not perish of the ghastly blight. Be thou, O life eternal, in me light, then merest approach of selfish or impure shall start me up alive, awake, secure. February 17th. Lord, I have fallen again, a human clod. Selfish I was, and heedless to offend, stood on my rights. Thy own child would not send away his shreds of nothing for the whole God. Wretched, to thee who savest, low I bend. Give me the power to let my rag rights go in the great wind that from thy gulf doth blow. February 18th. Keep me from wrath, let it seem ever so right. My wrath will never work thy righteousness. Up the hill to the whiter than snow shine. Help me to climb and dwell in pardon's light. I must be pure as thou, or even less than thy design of me. Therefore incline my heart to take men's wrongs as thou takest mine. February 19th. Lord, in thy Spirit's hurricane I pray, strip my soul naked, dress it then thy way. Change for me all my rags to cloth of gold. Who would not poverty for riches yield, a hovel sell to buy a treasure field? Who would a mess of porridge careful hold against the universe's birthright old? February 20th. Help me to yield my will, in labor even, nor toil on toil, greedy of doing, heap fretting I cannot more than me is given, that with the finest clay my wheel runs slow, nor lets the lovely thing the shapely grow, that memory what thought gives it cannot keep, and nightly rhymes ere morn like cistus petals go. February 21st. 'Tis shall thy will be done for me, or mine, and I be made a thing not after thine, my own, and dear in paltriest details? Shall I be born of God or of mere man, be made like Christ, or on some other plan? I let all run, set thou and trim my sails, home then my course, let blow whatever gales. February 22nd. With thee on board each sailor is a king, nor I mere captain of my vessel then, but heir of earth and heaven, eternal child, daring all truth, nor fearing anything, mighty in love, the servant of all men, resenting nothing, taking rage and blare into the godlike silence of a loving care. February 23rd. I cannot see, my God, a reason why from morn to night I go not gladsome free. For if thou art what my soul thinketh thee, there is no burden but should lightly lie, no duty but a joy at heart must be. Love's perfect will can be nor sore nor small, for God is light, in him no darkness is at all. February 24th. 'Tis something thus to think and half to trust, but my very heart, God born, should lie spread to the light, clean, clear of mire and rust, and like a sponge drink the divine sunbeams. What resolution then strong, swift, and high? What pure devotion, or to live or die? And in my sleep what true, what perfect dreams? February 25th. There is a misty twilight of the soul, a sickly eclipse, low brooding o'er a man, when the poor brain is as an empty bowl, and the thought-spirit weariful and wan, turning from that which yet it loves the best, sinks moveless, with life-poverty oppressed. Watch then, O Lord, thy feebly glimmering coal. February 26. I cannot think. In me is but a void. I have felt much, and want to feel no more. My soul is hungry for some poorer fare, some earthly nectar, gold not unalloyed. The little child that's happy to the core will leave his mother's lap, run down the stair, play with the servants. Is his mother annoyed? February 27th. I would not have it so. Weary and worn, why not to thee run straight and be at rest? Motherward, with toy new or garment torn, the child that late forsook her changeless breast runs to home's heart, the heaven that's heavenliness. In joy or sorrow, feebleness or might, peace or commotion, be thou, Father, my delight. February 28th. The thing I would say still comes forth with doubt and difference. Is it that thou shapest my ends? Or is it only the necessity of stubborn words that shift sluggish about, warping my thought as it the sentence bends? Have thou a part in it, O Lord, and I shall say a truth, if not the thing I try. February 29th. Gather my broken fragments to a whole, as these 4 quarters make a shining day. Into thy basket for my golden bowl, take up the things that I have cast away, in vice or indolence or unwise play. Let mine be a merry, all-receiving heart, but make it a whole, with light in every part. End of February.
March of Diary of an Old Soul. This is LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Tika Sabu. Diary of an Old Soul by George MacDonald. March the 1st. The songbirds that come to me might and morn fly oft away and vanish if I sleep, nor to my fowling net will one return. Is the thing ever ours we cannot keep? But their souls go not out into the deep. What matter if with changed song they come back? Old strength, nor yet fresh beauty shall they lack. 2nd. Gloriously wasteful, O my Lord, art thou. Sunset faints after sunset into the night, splendorously dying from thy window-sill. For ever sad our poverty doth bow before the riches of thy making might. Sweep from thy space thy systems at thy will. In thee the sun sets every sunset still. 3rd. And in the perfect time, O perfect God, when we are in our home, our natal home, when joy shall carry every sacred load, and from its life and peace no heart shall roam, what if thou make us able to make like thee, to light with moons, to clothe with greenery, to hang gold sunsets o'er a rose and purple sea. 4th. Then to his neighbour one may call out, Come, brother, come hither, I would show you a thing. And lo, a vision of his imagining, informed of thought which else had rested dumb, before the neighbour's truth-delighted eyes, in the great ether of existence rise, and 2 hearts each to each the closer cling. 5th. We make, but thou art the creating core, Whatever thing I dream, invent, or feel, thou art the heart of it, the atmosphere. Thou art inside all love man ever bore, yea, the love itself, whatever thing be dear. Man calls his dog, he follows at his heels, because thou first art love, self-caused, essential, mere. 6th. This day be with me, Lord, when I go forth. Be nearer to me than I am able to ask. In merriment, in converse, or in task, walking the street, listening to men of worth, or greeting such as only talk and bask. Be thy thought still my waiting soul around, and if he come, I shall be watching found. 7th. What if, writing, I always seem to leave some better thing, or better way behind? Why would I therefore fret at all or grieve? The worse I drop, that I the better find. The best is only in thy perfect mind. Fallen threads I will not search for, I will weave. Who makes the mill-wheel backward strike to ground? 8th. Be with me, Lord, keep me beyond all prayers, for more than all my prayers, my need of thee, and thou beyond all need, all unknown cares. What the heart's dear imagination dares, thou dost transcend in measureless majesty. All prayers in one, my God, be unto me, thy own eternal self, absolutely. 9th. Where should the unknown treasures of the truth lie, but there whence the truth come out the most, in the Son of Man, folded in love and ruth? Fair shore we see, fair ocean, but behind lie infinite reaches bathing many a coast, the human thought of the eternal mind, pulsed by a living tide, blown by a living wind. 10th. Thou healthful Father art the Ancient of Days, and Jesus is the eternal youth of thee. Our old age is the scorching of the bush, by life's indwelling incorruptible blaze. O life, burn at this feeble shell of me, till I the soul-signed garment of shall push, flap out my psyche wings, and to thee rush. 11th. But shall I then rush to thee like a dot, or lie long hours aeonian yet betwixt this hunger in me and the Father's heart? It shall be good, however, and not ill. Of things and thoughts even now thou art my next sole neighbour, and no space between. Thou art, and yet art drawing nearer, nearer still. 12th. Therefore, my brothers, therefore, sisters dear, however I, troubled or selfish, fail in tenderness or grace or service clear, I every moment draw to you more near. God in us from our hearts veil after veil keeps lifting till we see with his own sight, and all together run in unity's delight. 13th. I love thee, Lord, for every greed of love, not of the precious streams that towards me move, but of the indwelling, outgoing fountain store. Then mine, oh, many and ignorant hearts love more. Therefore the more with Mary at thy feet I must sit worshipping, that in my core thy words may fan to a flame the low primeval heat. 14th. O my beloved, gone to heaven from me, I would be rich in love, to heap you with love. I long to love you, sweet ones, perfectly, like God, who sees no spanning vault above, no earth below, and feels no circling air. infinitely, no boundary anywhere. I am a beast until I love as God doth love. 15th. Ah, say not 'tis but perfect self I want, but if it were that self is fit to live, whose perfectness is still itself to scant, which never longs to have but still to give, a self I must have, or not be at all. Love, give me a self-giving, or let me fall to endless darkness back, and free me from life's thrall. 16th. Back, said I, whither back? How to the dark? From no dark came I, but the depths of light. From the sun heart I came, of love a spark. What should I do but love with all my might? To die of love, severe and pure and stark, were scarcely loss, to lord a loveless height. That were a living death, damnation's positive night. 17th. But love is life. To die of love is then the only pass to higher life than this. All love is death to loving, living men. All deaths are leaps across clefts to the abyss. Our life is the broken current, Lord, O thine, flashing from morning to morn with conscious shine, then first by willing death self-made, then life divine. 18th. I love you, my sweet children, who are gone into another mansion, but I know I love you not as I shall love you yet. I love you, sweet dead children, there are none in the lands to which ye vanish to go, whose hearts more truly on your hearts are set, yet should I die of grief to love you only so. 19th. I am but as a beast before thee, Lord, great poet king, I thank thee for the word. Leave not thy son half made in beastly guise, less than a man with more than human cries, an unshaped thing in which thyself cries out, Finish me, Father, now, I am but a doubt. Oh, make thy moaning thing for joy to leap and shout. 20th. Let my soul talk to thee in ordered words, O King of kings, O Lord of only lords. When I am thinking thee within my heart, from the broken reflex be not far apart, the troubled water dimmed with upstirred soil makes not the image which it yet can spoil. Come nearer, Lord, and smooth the wrinkled coil. 21st. O Lord, when I do think of my departed, I think of thee who art the death of parting. O him who crying Father breathed his last, then radiant from the sepulchre upstarted. Even then I think thy hands and feet kept smarting, where thus the bitterness of death is past, but by the feet he still doth hold us fast. 22nd. Therefore our hands thy feet do hold as fast. We pray not to be spared the sorest pang, but only be thou with us to the last. Let not our heart be troubled at the clang of hammer and nails, nor dread the spear's keen fang, nor the gas-sickening that comes of pain, nor yet the last clutch of the banished brain. 23rd. Lord, pity us. We have no making power. Then give us making will, adopting thine. Make, and make us. Temper and refine. Be in us patience, neither to start nor cower. Christ, if thou be not with us, not by sign, but presence, actual, as the wounds that bleed, we shall not bear it, but shall die indeed. 24th. O Christ, have pity on all men when they come unto the border haunted of dismay, when that they know not draweth very near. The other thing, the opposite of day, formless and ghastly, sick and gaping dumb, before which even love doth lose his cheer. O radiant Christ, remember then thy fear. 25th. Be by me, Lord, this day, thou knowest I mean. Lord, make me mind thee. I herewith forestall my own forgetfulness when I stoop to glean the corn of earth which yet thy hand lets fall. Be for me then against myself, O lean over me then when I invert my cup. Take me, if by the hair, and lift me up. 26th. Lord of essential life, help me to die. To will to die is one with highest life, the mightiest act that to will's hand doth lie, born of God's essence, and of man's hard strife. God, give me strength my evil self to kill, and die into the heaven of thy pure will. Then shall this body's death be very tolerable. 27th. As to our mothers came help in our birth, not lost in lifting us, but saved and blessed, self-bearing self, although right sorely pressed, shall nothing lose but die and be at rest, in life eternal, beyond all care and dearth. God born, then truly a man does no more ill, perfectly loves and has whate'er he wills. 28th. As our dear animals do suffer less, because their pain spreads neither right nor left, lost in oblivion and foresightlessness, our suffering soul by faith shall be bereft of all dismay and every weak excess. His presence shall be better in our pain than even self-absence to the weaker brain. 29th. Father, let this cup pass, he prayed, was heard. What cup was it that passed away from him? Sure not the death cup now filled to the brim. There was no quailing in the awful word. He still was King of kings, of lords the Lord. He feared lest, in the suffering, waste and grim, his faith might grow too faint and sickly dim. 30th. Thy mind, my master, I will dare explore, what we are told, that we are meant to know. Into thy soul I search yet more and more, led by the lamp of my desire and woe. If thee, my Lord, I may not understand, I am a wanderer in a houseless land, a weeping thirst by hot winds ever fanned. 31st. Therefore I look again, and think I see that when at last he did cry out, My God, why hast thou me forsaken? Straight man's rod was turned aside. For that same moment he cried, Father, and gave up will and breath and spirit into his hands, whose all he did inherit, delivered, glorified eternally. End of March. Recording by Tika Sabu.
April of Diary of an Old Soul. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by NastassiaS. Diary of an Old Soul by George MacDonald. April. The first. Lord, I do choose the higher than my will. I would be handled by thy nursing arms, after thy will, not my infant alarms. Hurt me thou wilt, but then more loving still, if more can be in less, in love's perfect zone. My fancy shrinks from least of all thy harms, but do thy will with me, I am thine own. The second. Some things wilt thou not one day turn to dreams? Some dreams wilt thou not one day turn to fact? The thing that painful more than should be seems, shall not thy sliding years with them retract? Shall fair realities not counteract? The thing that was well dreamed of bliss and joy, wilt thou not breathe thy life into the toy? Third. I have had dreams of absolute delight, beyond all walking bliss, only of grass, flowers, wind, a peak, a limb of marble white. They dwell with me like things half come to pass. True prophecies, when I with thee am right. If I pray, walking, for such a joy of sight, thou with the gold will not refuse the brass. The fourth. I think I shall not ever pray for such. Thy bliss will overflood my heart and brain, and I want no unripe things back again. Love ever fresher, lovelier than of old, how should it want its more exchange for much? Love will not backward sigh, but forward strain, on in the tale still telling, never told. The fifth. What has been shall not only be, but is. The hues of dreamland, strange and sweet and tender, are but hint shadows of full many a splendor, which the high parent Love will yet unroll before his child's obedient, humble soul. Ah, me, my God, in thee lies every bliss, whose shadows men go hunting wearily amiss. The sixth. Now, ere I sleep, I wonder what I shall dream. Some sense of being, utter new, may come into my soul while I am blind and dumb, with shapes and airs and scents which dark hours teem, of other sorts than those that haunt the day, hinting at precious things, ages away, in the long tale of us God to himself doth say. The seventh. Late in a dream an unknown lady I saw stand on a tomb, down she to me stepped thence. They tell me, quoth I, thou art one of the dead, and scarce believe for gladness that ye she said, a strange auroral bliss, an arctic awe, a new outworldish joy awoke intense, to think I talked with one that verily was dead. The eighth. Thou dost demand our love, holy Lord Christ, and batest nothing of thy modesty. Thou knowest no other way to bliss the highest than loving thee, the loving perfectly. Thou lovest perfectly, that is thy bliss. We must love like thee, or our being miss. So, to love perfectly, love perfect love, love thee. The ninth. Here is my heart, O Christ, thou knowest I love thee, but wretched is the thing I call my love. O love divine, rise up in me and move me. I follow surely when thou first dost move. To love the perfect love is primal, mere necessity, and he who holds life dear must love thee every hope and heart above. The 10th. Might I but scatter interfering things, questions and doubts, distrusts and anxious pride, and in thy garment, as under gathering wings, nestle obedient to thy loving side. Easy it were to love thee, but when thou sendest me to think and labor from thee wide, love falls to asking many a why and how. The 11th. Easier it is, but poorer were the love. Lord, I would have me love thee from the deeps of troubled thought, of pain, of weariness. Through seeing wastes below, billows above, my soul should rise in eager, hungering leaps. Through thorny thicks, through sands unstable press, out of my dream to him who slumbers not, nor sleeps. The 12th. I do not fear the greatness of thy command, to keep heart open house to brother men. But till in thy God's love perfect I stand, my door not wide enough will open. Then each man will be love awful in my sight, and Open to the eternal morning's might, each human face will shine my window for thy light. The 13th. Make me all patience and all diligence, patience that thou mayest have thy time with me, diligence that I waste not thy expense, in sending out to bring me home to thee. What though thy work in me transcends my sense, too fine, too high for me to understand, I hope entirely on, Lord, with thy labor grand. The 14th. Lest I be humble at the last, and told that my great labor was but for my peace, that not for love or truth that I been bold, but merely for a prisoned heart's release. Careful, I humble me now before thy feet. Whatever I be, I cry, and will not cease. Let me not perish, though favor be not meet. The 15th. For what I seek thou knowest I must find, or miserably die for lack of love. I justify thee what is in thy mind, if it be shame to me, all shame above. Thou knowest I choose it, knowest I would not shove the hand away that stripped me for the rod, if so it pleased my life, my love made angry God. The 16th. I see a door, a multitude near by, in creed and quarrel, sure disciplines all. Gladly they would, they say, enter the hall, but cannot, the stone threshold is so high. From unseen hand, full many a feeding crumb, slow dropping over the threshold high doth come. They gather and eat with much disputing hum. The 17th. Still and anon a loud clear voice doth call, Make your feet clean, and enter so the hall. They hear, they stoop, they gather each a crumb. Oh, the deaf people, would they were all so dumb. Hear how they talk, and lack of Christ deplore, stamping with muddy feet about the door, and will not wipe them clean to walk upon his floor. The 18th. But see, one comes, he listens to the voice, careful he wipes his weary dusty feet. The voice hath spoken, to him is left no choice. He hurries to obey, that only is meet. Low sinks the threshold, levelled with the ground. The man leaps in, to liberty he's bound. The rest go talking, walking, picking round. The 19th. If I, thus writing, rebuke my neighbor dull, and talk and write, and enter not the door, then all the rest I wrong Christ tenfold more, making his gift of vision void and null. Help me this day to be thy humble sheep, eating thy grass, and following, thou before, from wolfish lies my life, O shepherd, keep. The 20th. God, help me, dull of heart, to trust in thee. Thou art the Father of me, not any mood can part me from the one, the verily God. When fog and failure over my being brood, when life looks but a glimmering marshy clod, no fire outflashing from the living God, then to rest in faith were worthy victory. The 21st. To trust is gain and growth, not mere sown seed. Faith heaves the world round to the heavenly dawn, in those whose great light the soul doth spell and read. Itself high born, its being derived and drawn from the eternal self-existent fire. Then, mazed with joy of its own heavenly breed, exultant humble falls before its awful sire. The 22nd. Art thou not, Jesus, busy like to us? Thee shall I imagine as one sitting still, ordering all things in thy potent will, silent and thinking ever to thy Father, whose thought through thee flows multitudinous. Or shall I think of thee as journeying, rather, ceaselessly through space, because thou everything dost fill? The 23rd. That all things thou dost fill, I well may think. Thy power doth reach me in so many ways. Thou, who in one the universe dost blind, passest, through all the channels of my mind. The sun of thought, across the farthest brink of consciousness thou sendest me thy rays, nor drawest them in when lost in sleep I sink. The 24th. So common are thy paths, thy coming seems only another phase of my me. But nearer is my eye, O Lord, to thee, than is my eye to what itself it deems. How better than couldst thou, O Master, come, than from thy home across into my home, straight over the marches that I cannot see. The 25th. Marches? 'Twixt thee and me there's no division, except the meeting of thy will and mine, the loves that love, the wills that will the same, where thine meets mine in my life's true condition. Yea, only there it burns with any flame. Thy will but holds me to my life's fruition. O God, I have no mine that is not thine. The 26th. I look for thee, and do not see thee come. If I could see thee, 'twere a commoner thing, and shallower comfort would thy coming bring. Earth, sea, and air lie round me moveless dumb, never a tremble, an expectant hum, to tell the Lord of hearts is drawing near. Lo! in the looking eyes, the looked for Lord is here. The 27th. I take comfort from my very badness. It is for lack of thee that I am bad. How close, how infinitely closer yet, must I come to thee, ere I could pay one debt, which mere humanity has on me set. How close to thee? No wonder, soul, thou art glad. Oneness with him is the eternal gladness. The 28th. What can there be so close as making and made? Not twined can be so near, thou art more nigh to me, my God, than is this thinking eye. To that I mean when I by me is said, thou art more near me, than is my ready will. Near to my love, though both one place do fill, yet till we are one, ah me, the long until. The 29th. Then shall my heart behold thee everywhere. The vision rises of a speechless thing, a perfectness of bliss beyond compare. A time when I nor breathe, nor think, nor move, but I do breathe and think and feel thy love, the soul of all the songs the saints do sing. And life dies out in bliss, to come again in prayer. The 30th. In the great glow of that great love, this death would melt away like a fantastic cloud. I should no more shrink from it than from the breath that makes in the frosty air a nimbus shroud. Thou, love, hast conquered death, and I, aloud, should triumph over him, with thy saintly crowd, that where the Lamb goes, ever followeth. End of April. Recording by Nastassia.
May of Diary of an Old Soul. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Lydia. Diary of an Old Soul by George MacDonald. May. The 1st. What though my words glance sideways from the thing which I would utter in thine ear, my sire? Truth in the inward parts thou dost desire, wise hunger, not a fitness fine of speech. The little child that clamoring fails to reach with upstretched hand the fringe of her attire, yet meets the mother's hand down hurrying. The 2nd. Even when their foolish words they turned on him, he did not his disciples send away. He knew their hearts were foolish, eyes were dim, and therefore by his side needs must they stay. Thou wilt not, Lord, send me away from thee. When I am foolish, make thy cock crow grim. If that is not enough, turn, Lord, and look on me. The 3rd. Another day of gloom and slanting rain, of closed skies, cold winds, and blight and bane. Such not the weather, Lord, which thou art fain to give thy chosen, sweet heart and brain. Until we mourn, thou keep'st the merry tune, thy hand unloved its pleasure must restrain, nor spoil both gift and child by lavishing too soon. The 4th. But all things shall be ours. Up, heart, and sing. All things were made for us. We are God's heirs. Moon, sun, and wildest comets that do trail a crowd of small worlds for a swiftness tale. Up from thy depths in me, my child heart bring. The child alone inherits anything. God's little children God's, all things are theirs. The 5th. Thy great deliverance is a greater thing than purest imagination can forgrasp. A thing beyond all conscious hungering, beyond all hope that makes the poet sing. It takes the clinging world, undoes its clasp, floats it afar upon a mighty sea, and leaves us quiet with love and liberty and thee. The 6th. Through all the fog, through all earth's wintry sighs, I scent thy spring, I feel the eternal air, warm, soft, and dewy, filled with flowery eyes, and gentle murmuring motions everywhere, of life in heart and tree and brook and moss. Thy breath wakes beauty, love, and bliss and prayer, and strength to hang with nails upon thy cross. The 7th. If thou hadst closed my life in seed and husk, and cast me into soft, warm, damp, dark mould, all unaware of light come through the dusk, I yet should feel the split of each shelly fold, should feel the growing of my prisoned heart, and dully dream of being slow unrolled, and in some other vagueness taking part. The 8th. As little as the world I should foreknow, up into which I was about to rise, its rains, its radiance, airs and warmth and skies, how it would greet me, how its wind would blow, as little, it may be, I do know the good which I for years half darkling have pursued, the second birth for which my nature cries. The 9th. The life that knows not, patient waits, nor longs. I know, and would be patient, yet would long. I can be patient for all coming songs, but let me sing my one monotonous song. To me the time is slow my mould among. To quicker life I fain would spur and start the aching growth at my dull swelling heart. The 10th. Christ is the pledge that I shall one day see, that one day, still with him, I shall awake and know my God, at one with him and free. O lordly essence, come to life in me, the will throb let me feel that doth me make. Now have I many a mighty hope in thee, then shall I rest, although the universe should quake. The 11th. Haste to me, Lord, when this fool heart of mine begins to gnaw itself with selfish craving, or like a foul thing scarcely worth the saving, swoln up with wrath, desireth vengeance fine. Haste, Lord, to help when reason favours wrong. Haste when thy soul, the high-born thing divine, is torn by passion's raving maniac throng. The 12th. Fair freshness of the God-breathed spirit air, pass through my soul, and make it strong to love. Wither with gracious cold what demons dare shoot from my hell into my world above. Let them drop down, like leaves the sun doth sear, and flutter far into the inane and bare, leaving my middle earth calm, wise, and clear. The 13th. Even thou canst give me neither thought nor thing, were it the priceless pearl hid in the land, which if I fix thereon a greedy gaze, becomes not poison that doth burn and cling. Their own bad look my foolish eyes doth daze. They see the gift, see not the giving hand. From the living root the apple dead I wring. The 14th. This versing, even the reading of the tale that brings my heart its joy unspeakable, sometimes will softly, unsuspectedly hail that heart from thee, and all its pulses quell. Discovery's pride, joy's bliss, take aback my sail, and sweep me from thy presence and my grace, because my eyes dropped from the Master's face. The 15th. Afresh I seek thee, lead me once more I pray, even should it be against my will, thy way. Let me not feel thee foreign any hour, or shrink from thee as an estranged power. Through doubt, through faith, through bliss, through stark dismay, through sunshine, wind, or snow, or fog, or shower, draw me to thee who art my only day. The 16th. I would go near thee, but I cannot press into thy presence, it helps not to presume. thy doors are deeds, the handles are their doing. He whose day life is obedient righteousness, who, after failure or a poor success, rises up, stronger effort yet renewing, he finds thee, Lord, at length in his own common room. The 17th. Lord, thou hast carried me through this evening's duty. I am released, weary and well content. O soul, put on the evening dress of beauty, thy sunset flush of gold and purple blent. Alas, the moment I turn to my heart, feeling runs out of doors or stands apart. But such as I am, Lord, take me as thou art. The 18th. The word he then did speak fits now as then, for the same kind of men doth mock at it. God-fools, God-drunkards, these do call the men who think the poverty of their all not fit, born humbly by their art, their voice, their pen, save for its allness, at thy feet to fling, for whom all is unfit that is not everything. The 19th. O Christ, my life, possess me utterly. Take me, and make a little Christ of me. If I am anything but thy Father's Son, 'tis something not yet from the darkness won. Oh, give me light to live with open eyes. Oh, give me life to hope above all skies. Give me thy Spirit to haunt the Father with my cries. The 20th. 'Tis hard for man to rouse his spirit up. It is the human creative agony, though but to hold the heart an empty cup, or tighten on the team the rigid rein. Many will rather lie among the slain than creep through narrow ways the light to gain, than wake the will and be born bitterly. The 21st. But he who would be born again indeed must wake his soul unnumbered times a day, and urge himself to life with holy greed. Now ope his bosom to the wind's free play, and now, with patience forceful, hard, lie still, submiss and ready to the making will, athirst and empty, for God's breath to fill. The 22nd. All times are thine, whose will is our remede. Man turns to thee, thou hast not turned away. The look he casts, thy labour that did breed. It is thy work, thy business all the day. That look, not foregone fitness, thou dost heed. For duty absolute, how be fitter than now? Or learn by shunning? Lord, I come, help thou. The 23rd. Ever above my coldness and my doubt rises up something reaching forth a hand. This thing I know, but cannot understand. Is it the God in me that rises out beyond myself, trailing it up with him, towards the spirit home, the freedom land, beyond my conscious ken, my near horizon's brim? The 24th. O God of man, my heart would worship all my fellow men, the flashes from thy fire. Them in good sooth my lofty kindred call, born of the same one heart, the perfect sire. Love of my kind alone can set me free. Help me to welcome all that come to me, not close my doors and dream solitude liberty. The 25th. A loving word may set some door ajar where seemed no door, and that may enter in which lay at the heart of that same loving word. In my still chamber dwell thou always, Lord. Thy presence there will carriage true afford. True words will flow, pure of design to win, and to my men my door shall have no bar. The 26th. My prayers, my God, flow from what I am not. I think thy answers make me what I am. Like weary waves, thought follows upon thought, but the still depth beneath is all thine own, and there thou movest in paths to us unknown. Out of strange strife thy peace is strangely wrought. If the lion in us pray, thou answerest the lamb. The 27th. So bound in selfishness am I, so chained. I know it must be glorious to be free, but know not what, full fraught, the word doth mean. By loss on loss I have severely gained wisdom enough my slavery to see, but liberty, pure, absolute, serene, no freest vision slave has ever seen. The 28th. For that great freedom how should such as I be able to imagine in such a self? Less hopeless far the miser man might try to imagine the delight of friend-shared pelf. Freedom is to be like thee, face and heart. To know it, Lord, I must be as thou art. I cannot breed the imagination high. The 29th. Yet hints come to me from the realm unknown. Airs drift across the twilight borderland, odored with life, and as from some far strand sea-murmured whispers to my heart are blown, that fill me with a joy I cannot speak. Yea, from whose shadow words drop faint and weak, thee, God, I shadow in that region grand. The 30th. O Christ, who didst appear in Judah land, thence by the cross go back to God's right hand. Plain history, and things our sense beyond, in thee together come and correspond. How rulest thou from the undiscovered burn, the world-wise world that laughs thee still to scorn? Please, Lord, let thy disciple understand. The 31st. 'Tis heart on heart thou rulest. Thou art the same at God's right hand as here exposed to shame, and therefore workest now as thou didst then, feeding the faint divine in humble men. Through all thy realms from thee goes out heart power, working the holy, satisfying hour when all shall love, and all be loved again. End of May. Recording by Lydia. www.a-wayfarer.com. June of Diary of an Old Soul. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Lydia. Diary of an Old Soul by George MacDonald. June. The 1st. From thine, as then, the healing virtue goes into our hearts. That is the Father's plan. From heart to heart it sinks, it steals, it flows. From these that know thee, still infecting those. Here is my heart. From thine, Lord, fill it up, that I may offer it as the holy cup of thy communion to my every man. The 2nd. When thou dost send out whirlwinds on thy seas, alternatest thy lightning with its roar, thy night with morning, and thy clouds with stars, or, mightier force unseen in midst of these, orderest the life in every airy pore, guidest men's efforts, rulest mishaps and jars. 'Tis only for their hearts, and nothing more. The 3rd. This alone thy Father careth for, that men should live hearted throughout with thee, because the simple only life thou art, of the very truth of living the pure heart. For this deep waters whelm the fruitful lay, wars ravage, famine wastes, plague withers, nor shall cease till men have chosen the better part. The 4th. But, like a virtuous medicine, self-diffused through all men's hearts, thy love shall sink and float, till every feeling false and thought unwise, selfish and seeking, shall, sternly disused, wither and die, and shrivel up to naught. And Christ, whom they did hang twixt earth and skies, up in the inner world of men arise. The 5th. Make me a fellow worker with thee, Christ, naught else befits a God-born energy. Of all that's lovely only lives the highest, lifing the rest, that it shall never die. Up I would be to help thee, for thou liest not linen-swathed in Joseph's garden tomb, but walkest crowned, creation's heart in bloom. The 6th. My God, when I would lift my heart to thee, imagination instantly doth set a cloudy something, thin and vast and vague, to stand for him who is the fact of me. Then up the will, and doth her weakness plague to pay the heart her duty and her debt, showing the face that hearkeneth to the plea. The 7th. And hence it comes that thou at times dost seem to fade into an image of my mind. I, dreamer, cover, hide thee up with dream, thee, primal individual entity. No likeness will I seek to frame or find, but cry to that which thou dost choose to be, to that which is my sight, therefore I cannot see. The 8th. No likeness! Lo, the Christ, O large enough! I see, yet fathom not the face he wore. He is, and out of him there is no stuff to make a man. Let fail me every spark of blissful vision on my pathway rough, I have seen much, and trust the perfect more, while to his feet my faith crosses the wayless dark. The 9th. Faith is the human shadow of thy might. Thou art the one self-perfect life, and we who trust thy life therein join on to thee, taking our part in self-creating light. To trust is to step forward out of the night, to be, to share in the outgoing will that lives and is, because outgoing still. The 10th. I am lost before thee, Father, yet I will claim of thee my birthright ineffable. Thou layest it on me, Son, to claim thee, Sire. To that which thou hast made me I aspire. To thee, the sun, upflames thy kindled fire. No man presumes in that to which he was born. Less than the gift to claim would be the giver to scorn. The 11th. Henceforth all things thy dealings are with me, for out of thee is nothing, or can be, and all things are to draw us home to thee. What matter that the knowers scoffing say, "This is old folly, plain to the new day"? If thou be such as thou, and they as they, unto thy let there be, they still must answer nay. The 12th. They will not, therefore cannot, do not know him. Nothing they could know could be God. In sooth, unto the true alone exists the truth. They say well, saying nature doth not show him. Truly, she shows not what she cannot show, and they deny the thing they cannot know. Who sees a glory, towards it will go. The 13th. Faster no step moves God, because the fool shouts to the universe, "God there is none." The blindest man will not preach out the sun, though on his darkness he should found a school. It may be, when he finds he is not dead, though world and body, sight and sound are fled, some eyes may open in his foolish head. The 14th. When I am very weary with hard thought, and yet the question burns and is not quenched, my heart grows cool when to remembrance wrought that thou, who know'st the light-born answer sought, know'st too the dark where doubt lies entrenched, know'st with what seemings I am sore perplexed, and that with thee I wait, nor needs my soul be vexed. The 15th. Who sets himself not sternly to be good is but a fool, who judgment of true things has none, however oft the claim renewed. And he who thinks in his great plenitude to right himself and set his spirit free, without the might of higher communings, is foolish also, save he willed himself to be. The 16th. How many helps thou givest to those would learn, to some sore pain, to others a sinking heart, to some a weariness worse than any smart, to some a haunting, fearing, blind concern, madness to some the shaking dart of hideous death still following as they turn, to some a hunger that will not depart. The 17th. To some thou givest a deep unrest, a scorn of all they are or see upon the earth, a gaze at dusky night and clearing morn, as on a land of emptiness and dearth. To some a bitter sorrow, to some the sting of love misprized, of sick abandoning, to some a frozen heart, oh, worse than anything. The 18th. To some a mocking demon that doth set the poor foiled will to scoff at the ideal, but loathsome makes to them their life of jar. The messengers of Satan think to mar, but make, driving the soul from false to feel, to thee, the reconciler, the one real, in whom alone the would-be and the is are met. The 19th. Me thou hast given an infinite unrest, a hunger not at first after known good, but something vague I knew not and yet would, the veiled Isis, thy will not understood, a conscience tossing ever in my breast, and something deeper that will not be expressed, save as the spirit thinking in the spirit's brood. The 20th. But now the spirit and I are one in this, my hunger now is after righteousness. My spirit hopes in God to set me free from the low self, loathed of the higher me. Great elder brother of my second birth, dear o'er all names but one in heaven or earth, teach me all day to love eternally. The 21st. Lo, Lord, thou know'st I would not anything that in the heart of God holds not its root, nor falsely deem there is any life at all that doth in him nor sleep nor shine nor sing. I know the plants that bear the noisome fruit of burning and of ashes and of gall. From God's heart torn, rootless to man's they cling. The 22nd. Life-giving love rots to devouring fire. Justice corrupts to despicable revenge. Motherhood chokes in the dam's jealous mire. Hunger for growth turns fluctuating change. Love's anger grand grows spiteful human wrath, hunting men out of conscience' holy path, and human kindness takes the tattler's range. The 23rd. Nothing can draw the heart of man but good. Low good it is that draws him from the higher. So evil, poison uncreate from food. Never a foul thing with temptation dire tempts hellward force created to aspire, but walks in wronged strength of imprisoned truth, whose mantle also oft the shame endoth. The 24th. Love in the prime not yet I understand, scarce know the love that loveth at first hand. Help me my selfishness to scatter and scout. Blow on me till my love loves burningly. Then the great love will burn the mean self out, and I, in glorious simplicity, living by love, shall love unspeakably. The 25th. Oh, make my anger pure. Let no worst wrong rouse in me the old niggard selfishness. Give me thine indignation, which is love, turned on the evil that would part love's throng. Thy anger scathes because it needs must bless, gathering into union calm and strong all things on earth and under and above. The 26th. Make my forgiveness downright, such as I should perish if I did not have from thee. I let the wrong go, withered up and dry, cursed with divine forgetfulness in me. 'Tis but self-pity, pleasant, mean, and sly, low whispering bids the paltry memory live. What am I brother for, but to forgive? The 27th. Thou art my father's child, come to my heart. Thus must I say, or thou must say, depart. Thus I would say, I would be as thou art. Thus I must say, or still I work athwart the absolute necessity and law that dwells in me, and will me asunder draw, if in obedience I leave any flaw. The 28th. Lord, I forgive, and step in unto thee. If I have enemies, Christ, deal with them. He hath forgiven me and Jerusalem. Lord, set me from self-inspiration free, and let me live and think from thee, not me. Rather from deepest me then think and feel, at centre of thought's swift revolving wheel. The 29th. I sit o'ercanopied with beauty's tent, through which flies many a golden-winged dove, well watched of fancy's tender eyes upbent. 100 powers wait on me, ministering, 1,000 treasures art and knowledge bring. Will, conscience, reason, tower the rest above, but in the midst, alone, I gladness am and love. The 30th. 'Tis but a vision, Lord. I do not mean that thus I am, or have one moment been. 'Tis but a picture hung upon my wall, to measure dull contentment therewithal, and know behind the human how I fall. A vision true of what one day shall be, when thou hast had thy very will with me. End of June. Recording by Lydia. www.a-wayfarer.com.
July of Diary of an Old Soul. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Patti Cunningham. Diary of an Old Soul by George MacDonald. July 1st. Alas, my tent! See through it a whirlwind sweep. Moaning, poor fancy's doves are swept away. I sit alone, a sorrow half asleep, my consciousness the blackness all astir. No pilgrim I, a homeless wanderer. For how canst thou be in the darkness deep, who dwellest only in the living day? The 2nd. It must be, somewhere in my fluttering tent, strange creatures, half tamed only yet, are pent. Dragons, lop-winged birds, and large-eyed snakes. Hark! Through the storm the saddest howling breaks. Or are they loose, roaming about the bent? The darkness dire deepening with moan and scream. My morning, rise, and all shall be a dream. 3. Not thine, my lord, the darkness all is mine, save that, as mine, my darkness too is thine. All things are thine to save or to destroy. Destroy my darkness, rise my perfect joy. Love primal, the live coal of every night, flame out, scare the ill things with radiant fright, and fill my tent with laughing morn's delight. 4. Master, thou workest with such common things, low souls, weak hearts I mean, and hast to use, therefore, such common means and rescuings, that hard we find it, as we sit and muse, to think thou workest in us verily. Bad sea-boats we, and manned with wretched crews, that doubt the captain, watch the storm-spray flee. 5. Thou art hampered in thy natural working, then, when beings designed on freedom's holy plan will not be free. With thy poor, foolish men, thou therefore hast to work just like a man. But when, tangling thyself in their sore need, thou hast to freedom fashioned them indeed, then wilt thou grandly move, and godlike speed. 6. Will this not then show grandest fact of all, in thy creation victory most renowned, that thou hast wrought thy will by slow and small, and made men like thee, though thy making, bound by that which they were not, and could not be, until thou madest them make along with thee? Master, the tardiness is but in me. 7. Hence come thy checks, because I still would run my head into the sand, nor flutter aloft towards thy home with thy wind under me. 'Tis because I am mean, thy ways so oft look mean to me. My rise is low begun, but scarce thy will doth grasp me ere I see, for my arrest and rise, its stern necessity. 8. Like clogs upon the pinions of thy plan we hang, like captives on thy chariot wheels, who should climb up and ride with death's conqueror. Therefore thy train along the world's highway steals, so slow to the peace of heart-reluctant man. What shall we do to spread the wing and soar, nor straiten thy deliverance any more? 9. The sole way to put flight into the wing, to preen its feathers, and to make them grow, is to heed humbly every smallest thing with which the Christ in us has aught to do. So will the Christ from child to manhood go, obedient to the Father Christ, and so, sweet holy change will turn all our old things to new. 10. Creation thou dost work by faint degrees, by shade and shadow from unseen beginning, far, far apart in unthought mysteries of thy own dark, unfathomable seas, thou wilt'st thy will, and thence upon the earth, slow travelling his way through centuries winning, a child at length arrives at never-ending birth. 11. Well mayst thou then work on indocile hearts by small successes, disappointments small, by nature, weather, failure, or sore fall, by shame, anxiety, bitterness, and smarts, by loneliness, by weary loss of zest. The rags, the husks, the swine, the hunger quest, drive home the wanderer to the Father's breast. 12. How suddenly some rapid turn of thought may throw the life-machine all out of gear, clouding the windows with the steam of doubt, filling the eyes with dust, with noise the ear. Who knows not then where dwells the engineer, rushes aghast into the pathless night, and wanders in a land of dreary fright. 13. Amazed at sightless whirring of their wheels, confounded with the recklessness and strife, Distract with fears of what may next ensue, some break rude exit from the house of life, and plunge into a silence out of view, whence not a cry nor wafture once reveals what door they have broke open with the knife. The 14th. Help me, my Father, in whatever dismay, whatever terror, in whatever shape, to hold faster by thy garment's hem. When my heart sinks, oh, lift it up, I pray. Thy child should never fear, though hell should gape, not blench, though all the ills that men affray stood round him like the Roman round Jerusalem. The 15th. Too eager I must not be to understand. How should the work the Master goes about fit the vague sketch my compasses have planned? I am his house, for him to go in and out. He builds me now, and if I cannot see at any time what he is doing with me, 'tis he that makes the house for me too grand. The 16th. The house is not for me, it is for him. His royal thoughts require many a stair, many a tower, many an outlook fair, of which I have no thought, and need no care. When I am most perplexed, it may be there thou makest a secret chamber, holy dim, where thou wilt come to help my deepest prayer. The 17th. I cannot tell why this day I am ill, but I am well because it is thy will, which is to make me pure and right like thee. Not yet I need escape. 'Tis bearable, because thou knowest. And when harder things shall rise and gather, and overshadow me, I shall have comfort in thy strengthenings. The 18th. How do I live when thou art far away? When I am sunk and lost and dead in sleep, or in some dream with no sense in its play? When weary dull, or drowned in study deep? O Lord, I live so utterly on thee, I live when I forget thee utterly, not that thou thinkest of, but thinkest me. The 19th. Thou far, that word the holy truth doth blur. Doth the great ocean from the small fish run when it sleeps fast in its low weedy bower? Is the sun far from any smallest flower that lives by his dear presence every hour? Are they not one in oneness without stir, the flower, because the sun, the sun? The 20th. Dear presence every hour, what of the night, when crumpled daisies shut gold sadness in, and some do hang the head for lack of light, sick almost unto death with absence blight? Thy memory then, warm lingering in the ground, mourned dewy in the air, keeps their hearts sound, till fresh with day their lapsed life begin. The 21st. All things are shadows of the shining true, sun, sea, and air, close, potent, hurtless fire, flowers from their mother's prison, dove and dew. Everything holds a slender guiding clue back to the mighty oneness. Hearts of faith know thee than light, than heat, endlessly nigher, our life's life, Carpenter of Nazareth. The 22nd. Sometimes, perhaps, the spiritual blood runs slow and soft along the veins of will, doth flow seeking God's arteries from which it came, or does the ethereal creative flame turn back upon itself and latent grow? It matters not what figure or what name, if thou art in me, and I am not to blame. The 23rd. In such God-silence, the soul's nest, so long as all is still, no flutter and no song, is safe. But if my soul begin to act without some waking to the eternal fact that my dear life is hid with Christ in God, I think and move a creature of earth's clod, stand on the finite, act upon the wrong. The 24th. My soul this sermon hence for itself prepares. Then is there nothing vile thou mayest not do, buffeted in a tumult of low cares, and treacheries of the old man 'gainst the new. Lord, in my spirit let thy spirit move, warning that it may not have to reprove. In my dead moments, Master, stir the prayers. 25. Lord, let my soul o'erburdened then feel Thee thrilling through all its brain's stupidity. If I must slumber, heedless of ill harms, let it not be but in my Father's arms. Outside the shelter of His garment's fold all is waste, a terror-haunted wold. Lord, keep me. 'Tis Thy child that cries, Behold. 26. Some say that Thou their endless love host won by deeds for them which I may not believe Thou ever didst or ever willedst done. What matter, so they love Thee? They receive eternal more than the poor loom and wheel of their invention ever wove and spun. I love Thee for I must, Thine all from head to heel. 27. The love of Thee will set all notions right. Right save by love, no thought can be or may. Only love's knowledge is the primal light. Questions keep camp along love's shining coast. Challenge my love, and would my entrance stay. Across the buzzing, doubting, challenging host I rush to Thee, and cling, and cry, Thou knowest. 28. Oh, let me live in Thy realities, nor substitute my notions for Thy facts. Notion with notion making leagues and pacts, they are to truth but as dream deeds to acts, and questioned make me doubt of everything. O Lord my God, my heart gets up and cries, Come Thy own self, and with Thee my faith bring. 29. O Master, my desires to work, to know, to be aware that I do live and grow, all restless wish for anything not Thee, I yield and on Thy altar offer me. Let me no more from out Thy presence go, but keep me waiting watchful for Thy will, even while I do it, waiting watchful still. 30. Thou art the Lord of life, the secret thing. Thou wilt give endless more than I could find, even if without Thee I could go and seek. For Thou art one, Christ, with my deepest mind. Duty alive, self-willed, in me dost speak, and to a deeper, purer being sting. I come to Thee, my life, my causing kind. 31. Nothing is alien in Thy world immense. No look of sky or earth or man or beast. In the great hand of God I stand and thence look out on life, His endless holy feast. To try to feel is but to court despair, to dig for a sun within a garden fence. Who does Thy will, O God, he lives upon Thy air. End of July. Recording by Patti Cunningham.
August of Diary of an Old Soul. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Lydia. The Diary of an Old Soul by George MacDonald. August. The first. So shall abundant entrance me be given into the truth, my life's inheritance. Lo, as the sun shoots straight from out his tomb, God floated, casting round a lordly glance into the corners of his endless room. So through the rent which thou, O Christ, hast riven, I enter liberty's divine expanse. The second. It will be so. Ah, so it is not now. Who seeks thee for a little lazy peace, then like a man all weary of the plough that leaves it standing in the furrow's crease, turns from thy presence for a foolish while, till comes again the rasp of unrest's file, from liberty is distant many a mile. The third. Like one that stops and drinks, and turns and goes into a land where never water flows, there travels on the dry and thirsty day, until the hot night veils the farther way, then turns and finds again the bubbling pool. Here would I build my house, take up my stay, nor ever leave my Sychar's margin cool. The fourth. Keep me, Lord, with thee, I call from out the dark. Here in thy light, of which I am a spark, I know not what is mine and what is thine. Of branch and stem I miss the differing mark. But if a mere hair's breadth me separateth, that hair's breadth is eternal infinite death. For sap thy dead branch calls, O living vine. The 5th. I have no choice, I must do what I can. But thou dost me, and all things else as well. Thou wilt take care thy child shall grow a man. Rouse thee, my faith, be king, with life be one. To trust in God is action's highest kind. Who trusts in God, his heart with life doth swell. Faith opens all the windows to God's wind. The 6th. O Father, thou art my eternity. Not on the clasp of consciousness, on thee my life depends. And I can well afford all to forget, so thou remember, Lord. In thee I rest, in sleep thou dost me fold. In thee I labour, still in thee grow old. And dying, shall I not in thee my life be bold? The 7th. In holy things may be unholy greed. Thou giv'st a glimpse of many a lovely thing, not to be stored for use in any mind, but only for the present spiritual need. The holiest bread, if hoarded, soon will breed the mammon moth, the having pride I find. 'Tis momently thy heart gives out heart-quickening. The 8th. It is thyself, and neither this nor that, nor anything told, taught, or dreamed of thee that keeps us live. The holy maid who sat low at thy feet, choosing the better part, rising, bore with her what a memory! Yet brooding only on that treasure, she had soon been roused by conscious loss of heart. The 9th. I am a fool when I would stop and think, and lest I lose my thoughts, from duty shrink. It is but avarice in another shape. 'Tis as the vine branch were to hoard the grape, nor trust the living root beneath the sod. What trouble is that child to thee, my God, who sips thy gracious cup, and will not drink? The 10th. True, faithful action only is the life, the grapes for which we feel the pruning knife. Thoughts are but leaves, they fall and feed the ground. The holy seasons, swift and slow, go round. The ministering leaves return, fresh, large, and rife. But fresher, larger, more thoughts to the brain. Farewell, my dove, come back again, hope-laden, through the rain. The 11th. Well may this body poorer, feebler grow. It is undressing for its last sweet bed. But why should the soul, which death shall never know, authority and power and memory shed? It is that love with absolute faith would wed. God takes the inmost garments off his child to have him in his arms, naked and undefiled. The 12th. Thou art my knowledge and my memory, no less my real, deeper life, my love. I will not fool, degrade myself to trust in less than that which maketh me say me, in less than that causing itself to be. Thou art within me, behind, beneath, above. I will be thine, because I may and must. The 13th. Thou art the truth, the life. Thou, Lord, wilt see to every question that perplexes me. I am thy being, and my dignity is written with my name down in thy book. Thou wilt care for it. Never shall I think of anything that thou mightst overlook. In faith-born triumph at thy feet I sink. The 14th. Thou carest more for that which I call mine, in same sort, better manner than I could, even if I knew creation's ends divine, rousing in me this vague desire of good. Thou art more to me than my desire's whole brood. Thou art the only person, and I cry unto the Father eye of this my eye. The 15th. Thou, who inspirest prayer, then bend'st thine ear, it, crying with love's grand respect, to hear. I cannot give myself to thee aright, with the triumphant uttermost of gift. That cannot be till I am full of light. To perfect deed a perfect will must lift. Inspire, possess, compel me, first of every might. The 16th. I do not wonder men can ill believe, who make poor claims upon thee, perfect Lord. Then most I trust, when most I would receive. I wonder not that such do pray and grieve. The God they think to be God is not fit. Then only in thy glory I seem to sit, when my heart claims from thine an infinite accord. The 17th. More life I need ere I myself can be. Sometimes, when the eternal tide ebbs low, a moment weary of my life I grow, weary of my existence' self, I mean, not of its plodding, not its wind and snow. Then to thy knee trusting I turn and lean. Thou willst I live, and I do will with thee. The 18th. Dost thou mean sometimes that we should forget thee, dropping the veil of things twixt thee and us? Ah, not that we should lose thee and regret thee, but that, we turning from our windows thus, the frost-fixed God should vanish from the pane sun-melted, and a moment, Father, let thee look like thyself straight into heart and brain. The 19th. For sometimes when I am busy among men, with heart and brain an open thoroughfare, for faces, words, and thoughts other than mine, a pause comes at length. Oh, sudden then back throbs the tide with rush exultant rare, and for a gentle moment I divine thy dawning presence flush my tremulous air. The 20th. If I have to forget thee, do thou see it be a good, not bad forgetfulness, that all its mellow, truthful air be free from dusty noes, and soft with many a yes, that as thy breath my life may be man's breath, so when thou com'st at hour unknown, thou shalt find nothing in me but thine own. The 21st. Thou being in me, in my deepest me, through all the time I do not think of thee, shall I not grow at last so true within as to forget thee and yet never sin? Shall I not walk the loud world's busy way, yet in thy palace porch sit all the day, not conscious think of thee, yet never from thee stray? The 22nd. Forget! Oh, must it be? Would it were rather that every sense was so filled with my Father that not in anything could I forget him, but deepest, highest must in all things set him. Yet if thou think in me, God, what great matter, though my poor thought to former break and latter, as now my best thoughts break before thee foiled and scatter. The 23rd. Some way there must be of my not forgetting, and thither thou art leading me, my God. The child that, weary of his mother's petting, runs out the moment that his feet are shod, may see her face in every flower he sees, and she, although beyond the window sitting, be nearer him than when he sat upon her knees. The 24th. What if, when I at last, at the long last, shall see thy face, my Lord, my life's delight, it should not be the face that hath been glassed in poor imagination's mirror slight? Will my soul sink, and shall I stand aghast, beggared of hope, my heart a conscious blight, amazed and lost, death's bitterness come and not past? The 25th. Ah, no! For from thy heart the love will press, and shining from thy perfect human face, will sink into me like the Father's kiss, and deepening wide the gulf of consciousness beyond imagination's lowest abyss, will, with the potency of creative grace, lord it throughout the larger thinking place. The 26th. Thus God-possessed, new-born, ah, not for long should I the sight behold, beautified, know it creating in me, feel the throng of speechless hopes out-throbbing like a tide, and my heart rushing, borne aloft the flood, to offer at his feet its living blood, ere glory hid the other face I spied. The 27th. For our imagination is, in small, and with the making difference that must be, mirror of God's creating mirror. All that shows itself therein, that formeth he. And there is Christ, no bodiless vanity, though, face to face, the mighty perfectness with glory blurs the dim reflected less. The 28th. I clasp thy feet, O Father of the living. Thou wilt not let my fluttering hopes be more or lovelier or greater than thy giving. Surely the ships will bring to my poor shore of gold and peacocks such a shining store as will laugh all the dreams to holy scorn of love and sorrow that were ever born. The 29th. Sometimes it seems pure natural to trust, and trust right largely, grandly, infinitely, daring the splendor of the giver's part. At other times, the whole earth is but dust, the sky is dust, yea, dust the human heart. Then art thou nowhere, there is no room for thee in the great dust heap of eternity. The 30th. But why should it be possible to mistrust? Nor possible only, but its opposite hard. Why should not man believe because he must, by sight's compulsion? Why should he be scarred with conflict, worn with doubting fine and long? No man is fit for heaven's musician throng, who has not tuned an instrument all shook and jarred. The 31st. Therefore, O Lord, when all things common seem, when all is dust, and self the centre clod, when grandeur is but a hopeless, foolish dream, and anxious care more reasonable than God, out of the ashes I will call to thee, in spite of dead distrust, call earnestly. O thou who livest, call, then answer dying me. End of August. Recording by Lydia. www.a-wayfarer.com. September of Diary of an Old Soul. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Lydia. The Diary of an Old Soul by George MacDonald. September. The 1st. We are a shadow and a shining, we. One moment nothing seems but what we see, nor aught to rule but common circumstance. Naught is to seek but praise, to shun but chance. A moment more, and God is all in all, and not a sparrow from its nest can fall but that its chirp goes up into his hall. The 2nd. I know at least which is the better mood, when on a heap of cares I sit and brood, like Job upon his ashes, sorely vexed. I feel a lower thing than when I stood the world's true heir, fearless as, on its stalk, a lily meeting Jesus in his walk. I am not all mood, I can judge betwixt. The 3rd. Such differing moods can scarce to one belong. Shall the same fountain sweet and bitter yield? Shall what bore late the dust mood think and brood till it bring forth the great believing mood? Or that which bore the grand mood, bald and peeled, sit down to croon the shabby sensual song, to hug itself, and sink from wrong to meaner wrong? The 4th. In the low mood, the mere man acts alone, moved by impulses which, if from within, yet far outside the centre man begin. But in the grand mood every softest tone comes from the living God at very heart, from thee, who infinite core of being art, thee who didst call our names ere ever we could sin. The 5th. There is a coward sparing in the heart, offspring of penury and low-born fear. Prayer must take heed, nor overdo its part, asking too much of him with open ear. Sinners must wait, not seek the very best, cry out for peace, and be of middling cheer. False heart, thou cheatest God, and dost thy life molest. The 6th. Thou hungerest not, thou thirstest not enough. Thou art a temporizing thing, mean heart. Down-drawn, thou pick'st up straws and wretched stuff, stooping as if the world's floor were the chart of the long way thy lazy feet must tread. Thou dream'st of the crown hung over thy head, but that is safe. Thou gatherest hairs and fluff. The 7th. Man's highest action is to reach up higher, stir up himself to take hold of his sire. Then best I love you, dearest, when I go and cry to love's life I may love you so as to content the yearning making love that perfects strength divine and weakness fire, and from the broken pots calls out the silver dove. The 8th. Poor am I, God knows, poor as a withered leaf, poorer or richer than, I dare not ask. To love aright, for me were hopeless task, eternities too high to comprehend. But shall I tear my heart in hopeless grief, or rise and climb, and run and kneel and bend, and drink the primal love, so love in chief? The 9. Then shall love wake, and be its own high life. Then shall I know 'tis I that love indeed, ready without a moment's questioning strife, to be forgot like bursting water bead, for the high good of the eternal dear, all hope, all claim, resting with spirit clear upon the living love that every love doth breed. 10. Ever I seem to fail in utterance, sometimes amid the swift melodious dance of fluttering words, as if it had not been, the thought has melted, vanished into night. Sometimes I say a thing I did not mean, and lo, 'tis better by thy ordered chance than what eluded me, floating too feathery light. 11. If thou wouldst have me speak, Lord, give me speech. So many cries are uttered nowadays, that scarce a song, however clear and true, will thread the jostling tumult safe, and reach the ears of men buzz-filled with poor denays. Barb thou my words with light, make my song new, and men will hear, or when I sing or preach. The 12. Can anything go wrong with me, I ask, and the same moment at a sudden pain stand trembling. Up from the great river's brim comes a cold breath, the farther bank is dim, the heaven is black with clouds and coming rain. High soaring faith is grown a heavy task, and all is wrong with weary heart and brain. The 13. Things do go wrong. I know grief, pain, and fear. I see them lord it sore and wide around. From her fair dwelling answers truth, star-crowned. Things wrong are needful where wrong things abound. Things go not wrong, but pain with dog and spear, false faith from human hearts will hunt and hound. The earth shall quake neath them that trust the solid ground. The 14. Things go not wrong when sudden I fall prone, but when I snatch my upheld hand from thine, and, proud or careless, think to walk alone. Then things go wrong when I, poor silly sheep, to shelves and pits from the good pasture creep, not when the shepherd leaves the 99, and to the mountains goes after the foolish one. The 15. Lo, now thy swift dogs over stone and bush, after me, straying sheep, loud barking, rush. There's fear and shame, and empty heart and lack, and lost love, and 1,000 at their back. I see thee not, but know thou hound'st them on, and I am lost indeed, escape is none. See, there they come, down streaming on my track. The 16. I rise and run, staggering double and run, but whither, whither, whither for escape? The sea lies all about this long-necked cape. There come the dogs, straight for me every one. Me, live despair, live centre of alarms. Ah, lo! 'Twixt me and all his barking harms, the shepherd, lo! I run, fall folded in his arms. The 17. There, let the dogs yelp, let them growl and leap. It is no matter, I will go to sleep. Like a spent cloud pass pain and grief and fear. Out from behind it unchanged love shines clear. Oh, save me, Christ! I know not what I am. I was thy stupid, self-willed, greedy lamb, would be thy honest and obedient sheep. The 18. Why is it that so often I return from social converse with a spirit worn, a lack, a disappointment, even a sting of shame, as for some low, unworthy thing? Because I have not, careful, first of all, set my door open wide, back to the wall, ere I at others' doors did knock and call. The 19. Yet more and more of me thou dost demand. My faith and hope in God alone shall stand, the life of law, not trust the rain and sun to draw the golden harvest o'er the land. I must not say, this too will pass and die, the wind will change, round will the seasons run. Law is the body of will, of conscious harmony. The 20th. Who trusts a law might worship a god of wood. Half his soul slumbers if it be not dead. He is a live thing shut in chaos crude, hemmed in with dragons, a remorseless head still hanging over its uplifted eyes. No, God is all in all, and nowhere dies the present heart and thinking will of good. The 21st. Law is our schoolmaster. Our master, Christ, lived under all our laws, yet always prayed, so walked the water when the storm was highest. Law is thy father's, thou hast it obeyed, and it thereby subject to thee hast made, to rule it, master, for thy brethren's sakes. Well may he guide the law, by whom law's maker makes. The 22nd. Death haunts our souls with dissolution's strife, soaks them with unrest, makes our every breath a throe, not action. From God's purest gift wipes off the bloom, and on the harp of faith its fretted strings doth slacken still and shift. Life everywhere, perfect and always life, is sole redemption from this haunting death. The 23rd. God, thou from death dost lift me. As I rise, its lethe from my garments drips and flows. Ere long I shall be safe in upper air, with thee, my life, with thee, my answered prayer, where thou art God in every wind that blows, and self alone and ever softly dies. There shall my being blossom, and I know it fair. The 24th. I would dig, master, in no field but thine, would build my house only upon thy rock, yet am but a dull day with a sea sheen. Why should I wonder then that they should mock, who in the limbo of things heard and seen, hither and thither blowing, lose the shine of every light that hangs in the firmament divine? The 25th. Lord, loosen in me the hold of visible things. Help me to walk by faith and not by sight. I would, through thickest veils and coverings, see into the chambers of the living light. Lord, in the land of things that swell and seem, help me to walk by the other light supreme, which shows thy facts behind man's vaguely hinting dream. The 26th. I see a little child whose eager hands search the thick stream that drains the crowded streets for possible things hid in its current slow. Near by, behind him, a great palace stands, where kings might welcome nobles to their feet. Soft sounds, sweet scents, fair sights there only go. There the child's father lives, but the child does not know. The 27th. On, eager, hungry, busy-seeking child, rise up, turn round, run in, run up the stair. Far in a chamber, from rude noise exiled, thy father sits, pondering how thou dost fare. The mighty man will clasp thee to his breast, will kiss thee, stroke the tangles of thy hair, and lap thee warm in fold on fold of lovely rest. The 28th. The prince of this world came, and nothing found in thee, O master. But ah, woe is me! He cannot pass me on other business bound, but, spying in me things familiar, he casts over me the shadow of his flight, and straight I moan in darkness, and the fight begins afresh betwixt the world and thee. The 29th. In my own heart, O master, in my thought, betwixt the woolly sheep and hairy goat, not clearly I distinguish, but I think thou knowest I fight upon thy side. The how I am ashamed of, for I shrink from many a blow, am borne on the battle-tide when I should rush to the front, and take thy foe by the throat. The 30th. The enemy still hath many things in me, yea, many an evil nest with open hole gapes out to him, at which he enters free. But, like the impact of a burning coal, his presence mere straight rouses the garrison, and all are up in arms and down on knee, fighting and praying till the foe is gone. End of September. Recording by Lydia. www.a-wayfarer.com.
October, of Diary of an Old Soul. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Amy Gramour. Diary of an Old Soul by George MacDonald. October 1st. Remember, Lord, thou hast not made me good, or if thou didst, it was so long ago, I have forgotten and never understood. I humbly think, at best it was a crude, a rough-hewn goodness that did need this woe, this sin, these harms of all kinds fierce and rude, to shape it out, making it live and grow. October 2nd. But thou art making me, I thank thee, Sire. What thou hast done and doest thou knowest well, and I will help thee. Gently in thy fire I will lie burning, on thy potter's wheel I will whirl patient, though my brain should reel. Thy grace shall be enough the grief to quell, and growing strength perfect through weakness dire. October 3rd. I have not knowledge, wisdom, insight, thought, nor understanding fit to justify thee in thy work, O Perfect. Thou hast brought me up to this, and lo, what thou hast wrought! I cannot call it good, but I can cry, O enemy, the Maker hath not done. One day thou shalt behold, and from the sight wilt run. October 4th. The faith I will aside is easily bent, but of thy love, my God, one glimpse alone can make me absolutely confident. With faith, hope, joy, and love responsive blent, my soul then, in the vision mighty grown, its Father and its fate securely known, falls on thy bosom with exultant moan. October 5th. Thou workest perfectly, and if it seem some things are not so well, 'tis but because they are too loving deep, too lofty wise, for me, poor child, to understand their laws. My highest wisdom half is but a dream, my love runs helpless like a falling stream. Thy good embraces ill, and lo, its illness dies. October 6th. From sleep I wake, and wake to think of thee. But wherefore? Not with sudden glorious glee. Why burst not gracious on me heaven and earth, in all the splendor of a new day birth? Why hangs a cloud betwixt my Lord and me? The moment that my eyes the morning greet, my soul should panting rush to clasp thy Father feet. October 7th. Is it because it is not thou I see, but only my poor blotted fancy of thee? Oh, never till thyself reveal thy face shall I be flooded with life's vital grace. Oh, make my mirror heart thy shining place, and then my soul, awakening with the morn, shall be a waking joy, eternally new born. October 8th. Lord, in my silver is much metal base, else should my being by this time have shown thee thy own self therein. Therefore do I wake in the furnace, I know thou sittest by, refining. Look, keep looking in to try thy silver, Master, look and see thy face, else here I lie forever, blank as any stone. October 9th. But when in the dim silver thou dost look, I do behold thy face, though blurred and faint. O joy, no flaw in me thy grace will brook, but still refine. Slow shall the silver pass from bright to brighter, till sans spot or taint, love, well content, shall see no speck of brass, and I his perfect face shall hold as in a glass. October 10th. With every morn my life afresh must break, the crust of self gathered about me fresh, that thy wind spirit may rush in and shake the darkness out of me, and rend the mesh the spider devils spin out of the flesh, eager to net the soul before it wake, that it may slumberous lie and listen to the snake. October 11th. 'Tis that I am not good, that is enough. I pry no farther, that is not the way. Here, O my potter, is thy making stuff. Set thy wheel going, let it whir and play. The chips in me, the stones, the straws, the sand, cast them out with fine separating hand, and make a vessel of thy yielding clay. October 12th. What if it take 1,000 years to make me? So me he leave not angry on the floor. Nay, thou art never angry, that would break me. Would I tried never thy dear patience sore, but were as good as thou couldst well expect me. Whilst thou dost make, I mar, and thou correct me. Then were I now content, waiting for something more. October 13th. Only, my God, see thou that I content thee. O take thy own content upon me, God. Ah, never, never sure wilt thou repent thee, that thou hast called thy Adam from the clod. Yet must I mourn that thou shouldst ever find me one moment sluggish, needing more of the rod than thou didst think when thy desire designed me. October 14th. My God, it troubles me I am not better. More help, I pray, still more. Thy perfect debtor I shall be when thy perfect child I am grown. My Father, help me, am I not thine own? Lo, other lords have had dominion o'er me, but now thy will alone I set before me. Thy own heart's life, Lord, thou wilt not abhor me. October 15th. In youth, when once again I had set out to find thee, Lord, my life, my liberty, a window now and then, clouds all about, would open into heaven. My heart forlorn, first all would tremble with a solemn glee, then, whelmed in peace, rest like a man outworn, that sees the dawn slow part the closed lids of the morn. October 16th. Now I grow old, and the soft gathered years have calmed, yea, dulled the heart's swift fluttering beat. But a quiet hope that keeps its household seat is better than recurrent glories fleet. To know thee, Lord, is worth a many tears, and when this mildew age has dried away, my heart will beat again, as young and strong and gay. October 17th. Stronger and gayer tenfold, but, O friends, not for itself, nor any hoarded bliss, I see but vaguely whither my being tends, all vaguely spy a glory shadow blent, vaguely desire the individual kiss. But when I think of God, a large content fills the dull air of my gray cloudy tent. October 18th. Father of me, thou art my bliss secure. Make of me, Maker, whatsoe'er thou wilt. Let fancy's wing hang moulting, hope grows poor, and doubt steam up from where a joy was split. I lose no time to reason it plain and clear, but fly to thee, my life's perfection dear. Not what I think, but what thou art, makes sure. October 19th. This utterance of spirit through still thought, this forming of heart stuff in moulds of brain, is helpful to the soul by which 'tis wrought, the shape reacting on the heart again. But when I am quite old and words are slow, like dying things that keep their holes for woe, and memory's withering tendrils clasp with effort vain. October 20th. Then thou as now no less wilt be my life, and I shall know it better than before, praying and trusting, hoping, claiming more. From effort vain, sick foil and bootless strife, I shall, with childness fresh, look up to thee. Thou, seeing thy child with age encumbered sore, wilt round him bend thine arm more carefully. October 21st. And when grim death doth take me by the throat, thou wilt have pity on thy handiwork. Thou wilt not let him on my suffering gloat, but draw my soul out, gladder than man or boy, when thy saved creatures from the narrow ark rushed out and leaped and laughed and cried for joy, and the great rainbow strode across the dark. October 22nd. Against my fears, my doubts, my ignorance, I trust in thee, O Father of my Lord. The world went on in this same broken dance, when worn and mocked he trusted and adored. I too will trust and gather my poor best, to face the truth-faced false, so in his nest I shall awake at length a little scarred and scored. October 23rd. Things cannot look all right so long as I am not all right who see, therefore not right, can see. The lamp within sends out the light, which shows the things, and if its rays go wry, or are not white, they must part show a lie. The man half cured did men, not trees, conclude, because he moving saw what else had seemed a wood. October 24th. Give me, take from me, as thou wilt. I learn, slowly and stubbornly I learn to yield, with a strange hopefulness, as from the field of hard-fought battle won, the victor chief turns thankfully, although his heart do yearn. So from my old things to thy new I turn, with sad, thee trusting heart, and not in grief. October 25th. If with my father I did wander free, floating o'er hill and field where'er we would, and lighting on the sward before the door, strange faces through the window panes should see, and strange feet standing where the loved had stood, the dear old place theirs all, as ours before, should I be sorrowful, Father, having thee? October 26th. So, Lord, if thou takest from me all the rest, thyself with each resumption drawing nigher, it shall but hurt me as the thorn of the briar, when I reach to the pale flower in its breast. To have thee, Lord, is to have all thy best, holding it by its very life divine, to let my friend's hand go, and take his heart in mine. October 27th. Take from me leisure, all familiar places, take all the lovely things of earth and air, take from me books, take all my precious faces, take words melodious, and their songful linking, take scents and sounds in all thy outsides fair, draw nearer, taking, and to my sober thinking thou bringest them nearer all, and ready to my prayer. October 28th. No place on earth henceforth I shall count strange, for every place belongeth to my Christ. I will go calm where'er thou biddest me range, whoe'er my neighbor, thou art still my nighest. O my heart's life, my owner, will of my being, and to my soul thou every moment diest, in thee my life thus evermore decreeing. October 29th. What though things change and pass, nor come again, thou, the life-heart of all things, changest never. The sun shines on, the fair clouds turn to rain, and glad the earth with many a spring and river. The hearts that answer change with chill and shiver, that mourn the past, sad sick with hopeless pain, they know not thee, our changeless heart and brain. October 30th. My halting words will some day turn to song, some far-off day in holy other times. The melody now prisoned in my rhymes will one day break aloft, and from the throng of wrestling thoughts and words spring up the air, as from the flower its colors sweet despair issues in odor, and the sky's low levels climbs. October 31st. My surgent thought shoots lark-like up to thee. Thou, like the heaven, art all about the lark. What I surmise or know in me, idea or but symbol on the dark, is living, working, thought-creating power. In thee, the timeless Father of the hour, I am thy book, thy song, thy child would be. End of October.
November of Diary of an Old Soul. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Lydia. The Diary of an Old Soul by George MacDonald. November. The first. Thou art of this world, Christ, thou know'st it all. Thou know'st our evens, our morns, our red and grey, how moons and hearts and seasons rise and fall, how we grow weary plodding on the way. A future joy, how present pain bereaves, rounding us with a dark of mere decay, tossed with a drift of summer-fallen leaves. The second. Thou know'st all our weeping, fainting, striving. Thou know'st how very hard it is to be, how hard to rouse faint will not yet reviving, to do the pure thing, trusting all to thee, to hold thou art there, for all no face we see. How hard to think, through cold and dark and dearth, that thou art nearer now than when I seen on earth. The third. Have pity on us for the look of things, when blank denial stares us in the face. Although the serpent mask have lied before, it fascinates the bird that darkling sings, and numbs the little prayer bird's beating wings. For how believe thee somewhere in blank space, if through the darkness come no knocking to our door? The 4th. If we might sit until the darkness go, possess our souls in patience, perhaps we might. But there is always something to be done, and no heart left to do it. To and fro the dull thought surges, as the driven waves fight in gulfy channels. O victorious one, give strength to rise, go out, and meet thee in the night. The 5th. Wake, thou that sleepest, rise up from the dead, and Christ will give thee light. I do not know what sleep is, what is death, or what is light, but I am waked enough to feel a woe, to rise and leave death. Stumbling through the night to my dim lattice, so calling Christ, I go, and out into the dark look for thy star-crowned head. The 6th. There are who come to me and write and send, whom I would love, giving good things to all. But friend, that name I cannot on them spend. 'Tis from the centre of self-love they call for cherishing, for which they first must know how to be still and take the seat that's low. When, Lord, shall I be fit? When wilt thou call me friend? The 7th. Wilt thou not one day, Lord, in all my wrong, self-love and weakness, laziness and fear, this one thing I can say, I am content to be and have what in thy heart I am meant to be and have. In my best times I long after thy will, and think it glorious dear. Even in my worst, perforce my will to thine is bent. The 8th. My God, I look to thee for tenderness such as I could not seek from any man, or in a human heart fancy or plan. A something deepest prayer will not express. Lord, with thy breath blow on my being's fires, until even to the soul with self-love wan, I yield the primal love that no return desires. The 9th. Only no word of mine must ever foster the self that in a brother's bosom gnaws. I may not fondle failing, nor the boaster encourage with the breath of my applause. Weakness needs pity, sometimes love's rebuke. Strength only sympathy deserves and draws, and grows by every faithful, loving look. The 10th. 'Tis but as men draw nigh to thee, my Lord, they can draw nigh each other and not hurt. Who with the gospel of thy peace are girt, the belt from which doth hang the Spirit's sword, shall breathe on dead bones, and the bones shall live, sweet poison to the evil self shall give, and, clean themselves, lift men clean from the mire abhorred. The 11th. My Lord, I have no clothes to come to thee. My shoes are pierced and broken with the road. I am torn and weathered, wounded with the goad, and soiled with tugging at my weary load. The more I need thee. A very prodigal, I stagger into thy presence, Lord of me. One look, my Christ, and at thy feet I fall. The 12th. Why should I still hang back, like one in a dream, who vainly strives to clothe himself aright, that in great presence he may seemly seem? Why call up feeling, dress me in the faint, worn, faded, cast-off nimbus of some saint? Why of old mood bring back a ghostly gleam, while there he waits, love's heart and loss's blight? The 13th. Son of the Father, elder brother mine, see thy poor brother's plight, see how he stands defiled and feeble, hanging down his hands. Make me clean, brother, with thy burning shine. From thy rich treasures, householder divine, bring forth fair garments, old and new, I pray, and like thy brother dress me in the old home-bred way. The 14th. My prayer-bird was cold, would not away, although I set it on the edge of the nest. Then I bethought me of the story old, love fact or loving fable, thou know'st best. How, when the children had made sparrows of clay, thou madest them birds, with wings to flutter and fold. Take, Lord, my prayer in thy hand, and make it pray. The 16th. Oh, what it were to be right sure of thee, sure that thou art, and the same as thy Son, Jesus. Oh, faith is deeper, wider than the sea, yea, than the blue of heaven that ever flees us, yet simple as the cry of sore-hurt child, or as his shout with sudden gladness wild, when home from school he runs, till morn set free. The 17th. If I were sure thou, Father, verily art, true Father of the Nazarene as true, sure as I am of my wife's shielding heart, sure as of sunrise in the watching blue, sure as I am that I do eat and drink, and have a heart to love and laugh and think, meseems in flame the joy might from my body start. The 18th. But I must know thee in a deeper way than any of these ways, or know thee not. My heart at peace far loftier proof must lay, than if the wind thou, me the wave didst roll, than if I lay before thee a sunny spot, or knew thee as the body knows its soul, or even as the part doth know its perfect whole. The 19th. There is no word to tell how I must know thee. No wind clasped ever a low meadow flower so close that as to nearness it could show thee. No rainbow so makes one the sun and shower. A something with thee, I am nothing fro thee. Because I am not save as I am in thee, my soul is ever setting out to win thee. The 20th. I know not how, for that I first must know thee. I know thee not as I would know thee. For my heart burns like theirs that did not know him, till he broke bread, and therein they must know him. I know thee, knowing that I do not know thee, nor ever shall till one with me I know thee, even as thy Son, the eternal man, doth know thee. The 21st. Creation under me, in and above, slopes upward from the base, a pyramid on whose point I shall stand at last, and love. From the first rush of vapour at thy will, to the last poet word the darkness chid, thou hast been sending up creation's hill, to lift thy souls aloft in faithful Godhead free. The 22nd. I think my thought, and fancy I think thee. Lord, wake me up, rend swift my coffin planks. I pray thee, let me live, alive and free. My soul will break forth in melodious thanks, aware at last what thou wouldst have it be, when thy life shall be light in me, and when my life to thine is answer and amen. The 23rd. How oft I say the same things in these lines, even as a man, buried in during dark, turns ever where the edge of twilight shines, prays ever toward the vague eternal mark, or as the sleeper, having dreamed he drinks, back straightway into thirstful dreaming sinks, so turns my will to thee, for thee still longs, still pines. The 24th. The mortal man, all careful, wise, and troubled, the eternal child in the nursery doth keep. To-morrow on to-day the man heaps doubled. The child laughs, hopeful even in his sleep. The man rebukes the child for foolish trust. The child replies, Thy care is for poor dust. Be still, and let me wake, that thou mayst sleep. The 25th. Till I am one, with oneness manifold, I must breed contradiction, strife, and doubt. Things tread thy court, look real, take proving hold. My Christ is not yet grown to cast them out. Alas, to me, false judging twixt the twain, the unseen oft fancy seems, while all about the seen doth lord it with a mighty train. The 26th. But when the will hath learned obedience royal, he straight will set the child upon the throne, to whom the seen things all, grown instant loyal, will gather to his feet in homage prone, the child their master they have ever known. Then shall the visible fabric plainly lean on a reality that never can be seen. The 27th. Thy ways are wonderful, Maker of men. Thou gavest me a child, and I have fed and clothed and loved her many a growing year. Lo, now a friend of months draws gently near, and claims her future, all beyond his ken. There he hath never loved her, nor hath led. She weeps and moans, but turns and leaves her home so dear. The 28th. She leaves, but not forsakes. Oft in the night, oft at midday when all is still around, sudden will rise in dim pathetic light some childish memory of household bliss, or sorrow by love's service robed and crowned. Rich in his love, she yet will sometimes miss the mother's folding arms, the mother's sealing kiss. the 29. Then first, I think, our eldest born, although loving, devoted, tender, watchful, dear, the innermost of home-bred love shall know. Yea, when at last the janitor draws near, a still, pale joy will through the darkness go, at thought of lying in those arms again, which once were heaven enough for any pain. The 30. By love doth love grow mighty in its love. Once thou shalt love us, child, as we love thee. Father of loves, is it not thy decree, that by our long, far wandering remove from thee, our life, our home, our being blessed, we learn at last to love thee true and best, and rush with all our loves back to thy infinite rest. End of November. Recording by Lydia, www.a-wayfarer.com.
December of Diary of an Old Soul. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Diary of an Old Soul by George MacDonald. December 1st. I am a little weary of my life. Not thy life, blessed Father, or the blood too slowly laves the coral shores of thought, or I am weary of weariness and strife. Open my soul gates to thy living flood. I ask not larger heart-throbs, vigour fraught. I pray thy presence with strong patience rife. December 2nd. I will what thou willst, only keep me sure that thou art willing. Call to me now and then, so ceasing to enjoy I shall endure with perfect patience, willing beyond my ken, beyond my love, beyond my thinking scope, willing to be because thy will is pure, willing thy will beyond all bounds of hope. December 3rd. This weariness of mine, may it not come from something that doth need no setting right? Shall fruit be blamed if it hang wearily a day before it perfected drop plumb to the sad earth from off its nursing tree? Ripeness must always come with loss of might, the weary evening fall before the resting night. December 4th. Hither if I have come through earth and air, through fire and water, I am not of them. Born in the darkness, what fair flashing gem would to the earth go back and nestle there? Not of this world my life doth hem. What if I weary then, and look to the door, because my unknown life is swelling at the core? December 5th. All winged things came from the waters first. Airward still many a one from the water springs, in dens and caves wind-loving things are nursed. I lie like unhatched bird, upfolded, dumb, while all the air is trembling with the hum of songs and beating hearts and whirring wings, that call my slumbering life to wake to happy things. December 6th. I lay last night and knew not why I was sad. 'Tis well with God, I said, and he is the truth. Let that content me. 'Tis not strength, nor youth, nor buoyant health, nor a heart merry mad, that makes the fact of things wherein men live. He is the life, and doth my life outgive. In him there is no gloom, but all is solemn glad. December 7th. I said to myself, lo, I lie in a dream of separation, where there comes no sign. My waking life is hid with Christ in God, where all is true and potent, fact divine. I will not heed the thing that doth but seem. I will be quiet as lark upon the sod. God's will, the seed, shall rest in me, the pod. December 8th. And when that will shall blossom, Then, my God, there will be jubilation in a world. The glad lark, soaring heavenward from the sod, up the swift spiral of its own song whirled. Never such jubilation wild outpoured as from my soul will break at thy feet, Lord, like a great tide from sea heart shoreward hurled. December 9th. For then thou wilt be able, then at last, to glad me as thou hungerest to do. Then shall thy life my heart all open find, a thoroughfare to thy great spirit wind. Then shall I rest within thy holy vast, one with the bliss of the eternal mind, and all creation rise in me created new. December 10th. What makes thy being a bliss shall then make mind, for I shall love as thou, and love in thee. Then shall I have whatever I desire, my every faintest wish being all divine. Power thou wilt give me to work mightily, even as my Lord, leading thy low men nigher, with dance and song to cast their best upon thy fire. December 11th. Then shall I live such an essential life that a mere flower will then to me unfold more bliss than now grandest orchestral strife. By love made and obedience humble bold, I shall straight through its window God behold. God, I shall feed on thee, thy creature blessed with very being, work at one with sweetest rest. December 12th. Give me a world to part for praise and sunder. The brooks be bells, the winds in caverns dumb. Wake fife and flute and flageolet and voice. The fire-shook earth itself be the great drum, and let the air the regions bass out thunder. The firs be violins, the reeds hautboys. Rivers, seas, icebergs fill the great score up and under. December 13th. But rather dost thou hear the blundered words of breathing creatures, the music lowing herds of thy great cattle, thy soft bleating sheep, or hovered by the trebles of thy birds, whose Christ-praised carelessness song fills the deep. Still rather a child's talk who apart doth hide him, and make a tent for God to come and sit beside him. December 14th. This is not life, this being is not enough. But thou art life, and thou hast life for me. Thou madest the worm, to cast the wormy slough, and fly abroad, a glory flit and flee. Thou hast me, statue-like, hewn in the rough, meaning at last to shape me perfectly. Lord, thou hast called me forth, I turn and call on thee. December 15th. 'Tis thine to make, mine to rejoice in thine. As hungering for his mother's face and eyes, the child throws wide the door, back to the wall. I run to thee, the refuge from poor lies. Lean dogs behind me whimper, yelp, and whine. Life lieth ever sick, death's writhing thrall in slavery endless, hopeless, and supine. December 16th. The life that hath not willed itself to be, must clasp the life that willed, and be at peace, or like a leaf wind-blown, through chaos flee. A life husk into which the demons go, and work their will, and drive it to and fro, a thing that neither is nor yet can cease, which uncreation can alone release. December 17th. But when I turn and grasp the making hand, and will the making will, With confidence I ride the crest of the creation wave, helpless no more existence slave. In the heart of love's creating fire I stand, and love possessed in heart and soul and sense, take up the making share the making Master gave. December 18th. That man alone who does the Father's works can be the Father's son. Yea, only he who sunlight can create can ever be. Who with God wills not is no son, not free. O Father, send the demon doubt that lurks behind the hope out into the abyss. Who trusts in knowledge all its good shall miss. December 19th. Thy beasts are sinless, and do live before thee. Thy child is sinful, and must run to thee. Thy angels sin not, and in peace adore thee. But I will, or never more be free. I from thy heart came, how can I ignore thee? Back to my home I hurry, haste, and flee. There I shall dwell, love praising evermore thee. December 20th. My holy self, thy pure ideal, lies calm in thy bosom which it cannot leave. My self unholy, no ideal, hies hither and thither, gathering store to grieve. Not now, O Father, now it mounts, it flies to join the true self in thy heart that waits, and one with it, be one with all the heavenly mates. December 21st. Trusting thee, Christ, I kneel, and clasp thy knee. Cast myself down, and kiss thy brother feet. One self, thou and the Father's thought of thee. Ideal Son, thou hast left the perfect home. Ideal Brother, to seek thy brothers come. Thou know'st our angels all, God's children sweet, and of each two wilt make one holy child complete. December 22nd. To a slow end I draw these daily words, nor think such words often to write again. Rather, as light the power to me affords, Christ new and old would to my friends unbind. Through words he spoke help to his thought behind. Unveil the heart with which he drew his men, set forth his rule o'er devils, animals, corn, and wind. December 23rd. I do remember how one time I thought, God must be lonely. Oh, so lonely lone. I will be very good to him. Ah, naught can reach the heart of his great loneliness. My whole heart I will bring him, with a moan that I may not come nearer. I will lie prone before the awful loveliness in loneliness's excess. December 24th. A God must have a God for company. And lo, thou hast the Sun God to thy friend. Thou honour'st his obedience, he thy law. Into thy secret life will he doth see. Thou fold'st him round in live love perfectly. One, two, without beginning, without end. In love, life, strength, and truth, perfect without a flaw. December 25th. Thou hast not made or taught me, Lord, to care for times and seasons, but this one glad day is the blue sapphire clasping all the lights that flash in the girdle of the year so fair. When thou wast born a man, because alway thou wast and art a man, through all the flights of thought and time, and thousandfold creation's play. December 26th. We are all lonely, Maker, each a soul shut in by itself, a sundered atom of thee. No two yet love themselves into a whole. Even when we weep together, we are two, of two to make one, which yet two shall be, is thy creation's problem, deep and true, to which thou only hold'st the happy, hurting clue. December 27th. No less than thou, O Father, do we need a God to friend each lonely one of us. As touch not in the sack 2 grains of seed, touch no 2 hearts in great worlds populous. Outside the making God we cannot meet him he has made our brother. Homeward thus, to find our kin we must first turn our wandering feet. December 28th. It must be possible that the soul made should absolutely meet the soul that makes. Then in that bearing soul meet every other there also born, each sister and each brother. Lord, till I meet thee thus, life is delayed. I am not I until that morning breaks, not I until my consciousness eternal wakes. December 29th. Again I shall behold thee, daughter true. The hour will come when I shall hold thee fast in God's name, loving thee all through and through. Somewhere in his grand thought this waits for us. Then shall I see a smile not like thy last, for that great thing which came when all was past was not a smile, but God's peace glorious. December 30th. Twilight of the transfiguration joy, gleam-faced, pure-eyed, strong-willed, high-hearted boy. Hardly thy life clear forth of heaven was sent, ere it broke out into a smile, and went. So swift thy growth, so true thy goalward bent. Thou, child and sage inextricably blent, wilt one day teach thy father in some heavenly tent. December 31st. Go, my beloved children, live your life. Wounded, faint, bleeding, never yield the strife. Stunned, fallen awake, arise and fight again. Before you victory stands, with shining train of hopes not credible until they are. Beyond morass and mountain swells the star of perfect love, the home of longing heart and brain. End of December. Recording by Rhonda Federman. End of The Diary of an Old Soul by George MacDonald.